fact that the Negroni gets an entire week speaks volumes to this amazing cocktail. Whoa. What are you doing? Levio Laurel and Negroni there? I got to back up and kiss myself. That's so good.
Listen, I'm not used to someone that drinks at my pace.
And I said, I'm just going to be the best bartender I can be.
Thank you for blazing the trail.
One simple word, happiness.
A lot of us consider you a legend in this. Do you consider yourself a legend? Do you know your impact on the industry?
But, I mean, that makes me sound awfully old.
Tony Abou-Ganim.
Hey,
welcome,
Michael.
Welcome to Pouring Stories.
Nice
Long
to be
time
here.
coming, man.
Yes, it has been.
We're going to have to start with a Negroni. There's a lot of things you're synonymous with. Making Negronis is one of them. Let me get this going for you.
Whoa. What are you doing? Levio Laurel and Negroni there? Not a slice, a swath of orange peel, please.
Man, I got to have you guys come in here and battle out on Negronis because he told me, man, he's like, and honestly, the big cube I think is more aesthetically pleasing, but he doesn't even approve of the big cube for a Negroni.
I mean, for an Italian guy, you'd think he'd know how to drink his Negronis. But...
See, now that's crazy. Is this, so if I go to Italy and I order, I know, aromatics is key for me.
Beautiful.
If I go to Italy and I order a Negroni, how am I getting it?
Well, here's a funny story.
Salud.
Happiness, my friend. Oh, I got to back up and kiss myself. That's so good.
Yup.
Nice job. And the swath, you can smell those oils of the orange. It just adds to the enjoyment. But, all right, I'll tell you, I learned the Negroni in 1991, quite by accident. I was opening Harry Denton's on Stewart Street with David O'Malley. He was the general manager, best bar team I ever worked with at Harry Denton's on Stewart Street. And back then, you didn't get handed a cocktail menu when you walked into a place. And he put together this placemat at the bar, and it had 4 classic cocktails on it. It had an old fashioned, it had a French 75, it had a sidecar, and it had this thing called a Negroni. I was like, hell's a Negroni? I'd never heard of a Negroni. And so we did the tasting, and the first time I tasted it, I'm going to deny this to anyone who asks, but I spit it out. I was like, is it supposed to taste like this?
Right.
I mean, I never tasted it in quite, the bitter and they say that even the Italians have to try it 3 times before they fall in love with it. And that was the case with me. It wasn't love at first sip, but I stuck with it. I tried it 3 times. I fell in love with it. And since then, it's been my favorite cocktail. But the way I learned it, again, I'm embarrassed to say this, but I learned it shaken, straight up, and because of our friend Dale Degroff, with a burnt orange twist. So the twist was there, even though it was burnt, and if you did it wrong, you'd get that soot floating on top of the glass. And then I went to Florence for the very first time, and you have to go to Florence because I'm sitting at a cafe and everyone's drinking this on the rocks. And I asked the waiter, I said, what's everybody drinking? And he said, Negronis, but of course. And I was like, on the rocks? He said, yeah, that's how they're served. You don't know what you don't know, Michael. Yeah. And, we don't hand down bad habits. I mean, when we opened the Bellagio in 1998, I got up in front of 300 bartenders, and I said, how many people know the Negroni? And I think maybe one old Italian guy raised his hand. So I said, if there's one drink that you're all going to learn, it's a Negroni because it's my favorite cocktail. And lo and behold, that's how I taught it. I taught it shaken, straight up with the burnt orange twist.
Wow.
You don't know what you don't know.
Right. Now, and then in general, would you say now as, who you are, you've been doing this for over 35 years? Is that?
Keep going.
Geez.
I know. I know. I'm well pickled. I'm preserved.
Something to that. The pickling of the liver. We stay younger, I swear. Maybe it's the happiness of the bar culture.
I think it is. I think it's the happiness.
It's like if you love your job, it's not a stressful job. It's a rewarding job. But so when we're talking about Negroni, and you're kind of, you're synonymous for many reasons, and there's a lot of cocktails we could talk about, and we're going to get the cable car in a little bit and talk about that, which has your name all over that too. But we have a thing called Negroni Week that comes up every year, and you're a big part of that. You have a bike ride. Can you tell me and tell the audience? I mean, I know, but I want the audience to find out what is Negroni Week in Las Vegas?
Well, a lot of cocktails have a day. Today's National Rum Day or National Daiquiri Day, or the fact that the Negroni gets an entire week speaks volumes to this amazing cocktail that really, like I said, in 1991, you would be hard pressed to go to any bar anywhere in America and find a bartender that knew the Negroni. I mean, unless they were of Italian descent or in an Italian restaurant in New York City, nobody knew. I had this thing called the Negroni test, Michael. And my buddy Seth, who came to Las Vegas when we opened the Bellagio in '98, said, don't do the Negroni test, please. And I would go and I said, can I get a Negroni? Bartender, oh, dude, just ran out. Ran out. We don't stock a Negroni. How about a Peroni?
Oh, my God.
No,
oh,
it's not.
Lord.
Best story was here in Las Vegas. This would have been around 2000. Going to a bar, ordered the bartender, can I get a Negroni? She said, absolutely. I was like, all right.
We're on money.
Yeah, we're on the money. So I turned back to the conversation. I looked back, and she's pouring a Negro Modelo in a glass and sets it in front of me. I said, well, I guess they both start with an N. But
oh, my God.
no, and the United States Bartenders Guild, I think, had a lot to do with, at least in Las Vegas, popularizing the Negroni. Because, of course, I was a founding member along with Francesco Lafronconi, and we started the USBG second chapter here in Las Vegas. And he, being Italian, he knows and loves Negronis. So I think we introduced it to the USBG members. They started ordering it, and eventually it started catching on. And I remember it was a Christmas party, the USBG, and I walked in, everyone in their red jackets, and everyone drinking a Negroni. I said, it's on its way. And today, I mean, you go into any even decent bar and order Negroni, and following question will probably be, do you have a preference in gins? So everybody knows Negroni. So it's something that I'm happy to see happen. You know, a lot has happened in our industry since 1991, but along with that came Negroni Week, which is really about celebrating this great libation, celebrating the history of it, celebrating its contributions to the bar industry, but also giving back. During Negroni Week, bars are asked to donate a portion of either a classic Negroni recipe or a twist on the Negroni recipe to a charity of their choice. And one of the charities that I've endorsed, or I actually started it in 2010, and you're wearing the pin.
That's right.
Is the Helen David Relief Fund, which is in memory of my cousin Helen David, who was a 2-time cancer survivor, and the proceeds benefit bartenders and their families going through cancer treatment.
That's incredible. And I know a lot of people look forward to that bike ride every year. And how did that start with the bike ride? Like, how did the bike ride start?
Well, you know, I'm an avid bicycle rider. I know you can't tell by this physique of mine, but
Talking about it's all shoulders up here, guys.
it's all shoulders. But I love bicycle riding. And when I started the Helen David, one of the things was, well, how do we raise funds? And one of the other things is, as you mentioned earlier, I mean, this is a great profession, put smiles on faces, but it wears on your body. And oftentimes we're not taking the best care of ourselves. So I thought, well, if we form a bicycle team, we're not only raising funds and giving back, it's bartenders taking care of bartenders, but we're also taking care of ourselves. You know, you're out on the bike, fresh air, clear your head, exercise, cardio. So it's a win-win-win. So bringing attention to the Helen David, raising funds for the Helen David, but at the same time, taking better care of our health. And it's, before COVID, damn COVID, we had bicycle rides in 26 cities around the country, raising money and awareness.
I didn't know that.
I was on a plane with Monique Paulin. She did such a great job with the Helen David, with the bicycle ride. Matter of fact, when we started our bicycle team, it was all sponsored by Campari. So Campari sponsored the team. It was called Team Negroni, again, for our love of Negronis. But we've since then expanded that so we can open it up to more sponsorship from other brands. And Helen would always toast her friends, family, and guests with one simple word: happiness.
Happiness.
So the bicycle team now is called Team Happiness. Jason Bornstein, who I know you know and love.
Good friend.
And just what a huge heart that man has. But he has really kind of taken the reins of the Team Happiness. And we just did a ride in Arizona. We've got our ride coming up here in October in Las Vegas. So any of you who ride, you don't have to be a bartender. I know you know a bartender, love a bartender, want to support a bartender, support the Helen David. The last Monday of the month of October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we'll be out on our bicycles. Come join us. If you can't join us for the ride, join us for the party. If you can't do that, send in a big check. So happiness.
Happiness. I mean, that's great. So I heard something that clicked on my brain. You said we put on the red jackets.
Yes.
What's the red jacket?
See, that's something not many people know. 1996, I moved back from New York City, and I was there pursuing an acting career. And I said to myself, self, yes, precious, I want to really focus on being the best bartender I can be. Now, you got to remember, in 1996, you couldn't Google things. There wasn't the internet. There wasn't, you had to read old books. And I discovered the United States Bartenders Guild. And at that time, there was one chapter, and that chapter was in Southern California. So I wrote a letter to Jose Encana, God rest his soul. He wrote back. I had to fill out an application. I got accepted in. So I joined the USBG. I was living in San Francisco at the time, in Southern Cal. So I'd fly down to Southern California. And the uniform was a red jacket, blue trousers, white shirt, and a red, white, and blue tie. Very, very patriotic.
I love it.
I love it too. I love it too. So when we started the second chapter here, Francesco and I, red sport jackets are not easy to come by.
No.
So at the time, I was at Bellagio, and the security at Bellagio wore red jackets. So I said, could we borrow some of these red jackets for our meeting?
Oh my God.
They said, yeah, absolutely. So Bellagio provided the original red sport jackets for all the USBG members. And there was only about, 20 of us at the time. And it's since expanded and grown. I think we're just under 60 chapters now nationwide. And it's amazing to see, because it is the governing body here in America of our profession. And we are overseen by the IBA, which is the International Bartenders Association. And when you become a member, it opens up all these great opportunities to travel, and that's the great thing about this profession, is to be able to travel and visit different cultures and how they do things in Spain. I just came back, or Germany, or London. It's an amazing community, and the IBA just kind of brings everyone together underneath that umbrella, and it's
I didn't know the IBA oversaw USBG, so that's interesting. Mm-hmm. And also, I agree with you wholeheartedly that this profession, it's funny because I did a very controversial, I tried to make people annoyed when I said bartenders work harder than servers. Servers, of course, work very hard as well.
Sure,
but
absolutely.
I wanted to get a conversation going. But there's a lot to be said about when you're passionate. Now, obviously, when I talk about things, I'm not talking about the extremes of the either end. I'm talking about what you can do if you're generally good, you care about what you're doing. And you get, not only can you eventually, if you're really good, get paid to go and do that stuff, mm-hmm. where it doesn't cost you money to go overseas, but even if it's on your own dime, and you bring those experiences back to your restaurant, your bar, what have you, and you talk to people, and then you go, oh yeah, I was there. I was at that distillery. I talked with him or her. And they go, you were? You did? What'd they say? So it's adding to your profession in so many ways.
I could not agree more. My kind of motto is, I want to be better today than I was yesterday.
Wow. Yeah.
And
perfect.
Anyone who thinks that, they know it all probably needs to do something.
Prepare for a rude awakening.
Exactly. Because especially today, there is more to know, there's more to taste, more to experience than ever before. It's ever changing, ever expanding, ever growing. And that's what keeps me so excited after 46 years behind the bar.
That's hard to believe, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Like I said, I think I'm well preserved. But yeah, I started under the watchful eye of my cousin Helen David, who the charity is named for, in memory of, in 1980 at the Brass Rail Bar in Port Huron, Michigan.
Okay, let's unpack that.
Well, here's the crazy thing. 1980, 46 years ago, made my first drink. That's where I started this craft. My Uncle Charlie, my cousin Tony, my cousin Maroon, my Uncle Saul. It was a family affair. Everyone else has passed, unfortunately. And the bar got sold out of the family. And this past year, I was able to buy it back, and we're remodeling it right now. And we're going to reopen the Brass Rail in September. And it's, I did not see that coming.
Wow.
I could not be more
I can see it hit you.
thrilled. No,
Yeah. And it hits me because I can feel it.
Well, she opened that bar in 1937. How many bars in the same, and she ran until 2006, almost 70 years.
And the bigger elephant in the room, she opened that bar.
Yes.
And she also is the one that taught you everything you know from that point, right?
Well, she used to tell me, Michael, she said, I taught you everything you know, but I didn't teach you everything I know.
That's the secret. Gotta have a couple. Gotta have a couple tricks.
You gotta have a couple of tricks. But no, in Michigan, a woman was not even allowed to bartend unless she was the daughter or wife of the proprietor until 1945. Right. So she opened this bar in 1937, and I truly believe that she influenced that law getting changed because she was a huge advocate to women behind the bar and did probably more for women in this industry, at least in the state of Michigan, than perhaps anyone. I mean, I don't know if I can think of another bar that.
Talk about a trailblazer.
And she was a sportswoman. She golfed. She fished. She was a Sports Illustrated fishing champion. She was an amazing woman.
Wow.
She loved the Bellagio. She used to love to come out. She would drink. She liked Ballantine Scotch. Do you remember Ballantines blended Scotch?
I feel bad. Like, no.
That's okay. Kind of a rectangular bottle. Yeah, she was little Ballantines and soda, and she would sit at the Bellagio, and she loved the piano players there, and everybody adored her. You know, because I've been talking about her my entire life. So when they got to meet her, they were all just like, and she ate all that up. You know,
of course.
And rightfully so.
Absolutely.
Rightfully so.
I mean, that when you told me years and years ago that your cousin, that she taught you everything you know back then, and I know how hard it was for women, especially back then, and it's never going to be like easy for women, but it's like, man, back then, holy God, like you're fighting your way in just to have a job against the chauvinistic male or whatever, what have you.
No, I mean, just to have a seat at the bar in 1937 by yourself as a woman would have been.
When did it become legal? Like, you couldn't even drink as a female in bars, right? Like,
well, she showed me a sign once of a girlfriend's bar of hers, and it said, ladies served at the table only with a gentleman escort.
Wow.
So, I mean, and no, well, hey, I don't know about you, but that was really good, but I'm getting a little parched over here. I mean, all this talking is
we're talking about Helen.
Thirst.
We're talking about San Francisco. I'm gonna make the cable car next.
Oh, I have not had a cable car. Well, at least this week. You know, it's.
I was waiting for a different number.
No, the cable car is a very interesting story. This was 1996, and I just returned from New York. I don't know if you knew this about me, but I was a thespian, and I moved to New York City to pursue a theater career. Does anybody recognize me, by the way? 1993, I was the Alka-Seltzer Plus cold and flu guy. No, it's true. Up here, a cold is more than just a runny nose. Alka-Seltzer Plus, you bet it's tough.
And you didn't make it? Like,
I was on my way. I was like, so I packed my bags. I moved to New York. And what do I end up doing? Tending bar. You know, and in 1993 in New York, it was a different time. Well, in 1993 anywhere, it was a different time in this industry. But I would be beating the pavement, doing auditions during the day, and tending bar at night. But I come back, I realized, you know, I really miss San Francisco. And after meeting Dale Degroff at the Rainbow Room, which interesting story. I'm working with Mario Batali at his very first restaurant, Poe, and he said, "You got to go up to the Rainbow Room and meet this cat, Dale Degroff." I was like, "Okay." So I go up to the Rainbow Room. I sit at the bar in the old Rainbow Room. Talk about those iconic joints that, unfortunately doesn't exist in like that. But the fact that I got to experience it in 1993, and I said, I'm going to mess with Dale a little bit and see if he knows what a Negroni is. Because 93, this is. So I sit at the bar and I have a Negroni. And of course, he made it straight up. To the best of my knowledge, he made it straight up for me. And that's when I saw him burn the orange. I was like, whoa, never saw that before. So of course I immediately ripped that off. That's
that's what bartending is.
Hey, greatest form of flattery, right?
Exactly.
But I was like, that is really cool, because not only was I impressed, but everybody sitting in the bar was like, what just happened down there? He just lit it, and it was theatrical. But when done right, it caramelizes the oils, and it does add a note to the drink that is otherwise not there. Just don't do it wrong.
And that's the other thing.
Yeah.
When you I've been to so many bars where they're like, we always torture. You don't torture your orange peel, and it's like, yeah, I've done that at a period of my life, and then I realized some of the times, even I, who knows not to do the soot, and if you're using a match, which is even harder, that you have to let the burn a little bit to get the magnesium off. But if you're using a lighter, you're putting lighter fluid on a cocktail. Yeah. And if you get it too close, you get what he mentioned in the very beginning was that black oily, that black oil, where it's like, you're like, oh, that's not as enticing on the cocktail. So if you can do it. But if you're not going to nail it 99 out of 100 times, maybe do the fresh orange peel, which is still lovely and amazing and gives you all the aromatics you need.
Yeah, I have not seen anyone light a orange peel in a long time. So it's
Well, now, when you first sat down, you busted out all this stuff.
Well, you had asked me about some of the things that I've done. And going back to that period, it was really difficult to find well-made, well-thought-out, quality bar tools that work together. I'd like to say bar tools, by bartenders, for bartenders. This was long before there was Cocktail Kingdom or any of the other. You had either Christoffel sterling silver or something really cheap. And I said, let me design a line. And it took me about 3 years working with Steel Light International to put this line together. And in that time, a lot of things came to market because other people also realized there was a need for high quality bar tools. So this is a little gift. This is for our tin on tin, which I'm too old. I mean, I was always tin on glass. I don't know, how you were raised, but I was always tin on glass. So the tin on tin, I get it, and I know the young guys and gals love the tin on tin. So we did a tin on tin, and I'm very, very proud to say that Serious Eats, in a blind kind of evaluation, picked our tin on tin as their favorite. So I'm very proud of that. It's very heavy weighted brushed stainless steel. But it also works with the glass.
That click.
I know, right? It just works with the 16-ounce mixing glass, and we also do a cobbler top with it. But I wanted you to have this and tell me what you think about our tin on tin.
First of all, this is beautiful. And I love that it's brushed and not coated, because this is practical. When you're working in a high volume situation, you can.
Hold on, Michael. Can you mix and talk at the same time?
Good point. Put these to use.
I'm
You're like, I'm thirsty here.
I'm thirsty over
listen,
here.
I'm not used to someone that drinks at my pace. So what's the tin on tin is a great reference, because you're talking about the pint glass that you were trained on.
That's how I learned, and still to this day, that's my preference.
There's a lot of pros to this. If I'm building in front of the person, and especially if I'm muddling something, you're watching the chef create. Here, the mystery it's a mystery. You don't know what's happening in there. So there is a lot of that. And then also, I mentioned how you got your all shoulders like that. You have to be a stronger person to whip a cocktail that's heavier. This is a lot heavier. So when you even doing that, it takes a little more. So I would say, especially women, benefit from the tin on tin. But as a person that does a lot of double shaking and everything, I don't trust myself nearly as much with the glass on tin with double shakes and stuff like that. I can do it because my hands are big, but if I picture a woman with like a small hand and they're trying and they have to use, you're right.
Yeah, come on.
It's a breath of fresh air.
No.
It's a breath of fresh air to sit with someone that drinks at my pace, I like being kept onto it.
Well, you said, come on the show. I promise you 3 drinks. I'm like, okay.
All right. I guess I'll accept that as payment, right? Well, that's awesome. I'm excited. I think they're aesthetically very pleasing, and I'm definitely a fan of the tin on tin.
So let's walk me through the recipe here.
Actually, I have Angelo pulled up our liquor.com because I always, even if I know the cocktail, which I wouldn't have known that you use or don't use simple syrup in this cocktail, but I pulled up liquor.com, and if you scroll to the top of that,
okay,
bartending icon Tony Abou-Ganim, also known as the modern mixologist, created the cable car cocktail as a homage to San Francisco's iconic vintage transportation that passes by the Starlight Room. First sentence, bartending icon. I wanted to ask you, a lot of us consider you a legend in this. Do you consider yourself a legend? Do you know your impact on the industry?
But I mean, that makes me sound awfully old. But I just think that I'm very blessed. I really feel opportunity happens when, or no, that's not how it goes. That was a very strong Negroni. Luck happens when opportunity meets preparation, and I really believe that to be the case with me. I think I was at the right place, right time, right message, and right beliefs. When I started in 1980, people would ask me, so what do you do for a living? I said, oh, I'm a bartender. I get all excited. They said, well, what do you want to do? I said, am I supposed to want to do something else? I'm kind of happy being a bartender. But that was in 1980, when you told people you're a bartender, they think, well, that's a part-time gig or what you're doing while you're finishing your
What do you do for your real job?
What is your real job going to be? And I was one of those. So I went back to school. I got a business degree. I was a stockbroker. I was a construction worker. But I always came back to tending bar. And that moment in 1993, sitting at Dale Degroff's bar, when that light bulb went off, and I said, I'm just going to be the best bartender I can be. And I just went back. I never knew that there'd be any book deals or TV shows or opportunities to do things like this with you or create. I just wanted to be a great bartender because I love being a bartender. And that was it. And
it's rewarding.
So like I said, right place, right time, right message. It was Dale that recommended me to Steve Wynn for the position at Bellagio, which really kind of changed everything because that was the tipping point in a lot of places, especially in Las Vegas in 1998. It was rare that you went into a bar and got a fresh drink, a premium drink, someplace that cared about ice and glassware and garnish, fresh ingredients, premium spirits. That wasn't Las Vegas. Today, you'd be hard-pressed not to get that. So I feel very proud that that's happened. But I think, again, I was right place, right time, right message, and right love. It really was. When I got here, I had no idea what I was getting into. I'll be honest with you. I came from the Starlight Room, and I just came with the same philosophy and mentality of running, a program that we did at the Starlight Room. Fresh drinks, premium drinks, fun drinks, fun and hospitality.
Well, that was always the first thing before I even knew that you made the cable car, so it calls for spiced rum. I'm a big fan of Sailor Jerry, but we talked that this is what it was made with, and this is what was easily available. I don't even know if Sailor Jerry was existing at that time.
Well, Sailor Jerry himself probably was, but I don't think his rum was.
He was still sailing.
He was still sailing, yeah.
But I had this jug of Captain Morgan, but the fortunate thing is that this is an old bottle.
Yeah, I noticed the label.
And they've changed things.
They have. They have changed things.
It now says with Madagascar vanilla.
Yeah. So it's not that old of a bottle, but it's an older bottle that we have today. Like I said, this happened in 1996. When the people that had Captain Morgan came up to the Starlight Room and said, would you create a signature drink using Captain Morgan rum? Now, you got to remember, in 1996, it wasn't common to see original drinks. You know, you had lemon drops, you had cosmopolitans, thanks to our friend Toby Cheney. But you know, really, oh, I love that sound. Nice technique.
Oh, these are ergonomics right here. They fit in the hand well.
Thank you. That's and as Francesco says, always with the smile.
Always. You have to.
But you didn't see a lot of people creating original drinks. So I had read an old book, somehow come across the Brandy Crusta, and that's really what this drink is a riff on the Brandy Crusta with orange curacao, which orange curacao was something that fell out of favor during Prohibition. So it's nice to see, you know, brands like Friard, you know, with our friend David Wondrich helped work on, Marie Bizard bringing back orange curacao to be able to make the cable car again. So it was kind of an obscure ingredient in 1996. And it really was just, I think it was Mencken who once said, there'll never again be a totally original cocktail, just variations and riffs on drinks that have come before it. And we had talked about Livio Laurel earlier in his book, 12 Cocktails, which really breaks it down to saying you can almost trace back any drink to a style. Gary Reagan refers to this style of drink as a New Orleans sour. Spirit, orange liqueur, and some type of citrus. So it was just really riffing on the Brandy Crusta, replacing that with spiced rum, and went on to be probably my most popular drink. And I can't wait to taste your version.
Well, I followed liquor.com and they followed the iconic Tony Abou-Ganim. Lovely.
That is lovely. Balanced, yeah.
And that's funny because that Madagascar, so now, you know, brands have to innovate, and I understand that. But when you're something that's already synonymous with like drinking culture, and it's like a Captain and Coke is just so, why change anything? And now it has this extra sweetness to it. And it says with Madagascar vanilla. And I'm like, man, it's because I've actually had someone go, you didn't pour me
really?
Captain. This is something different. And I was like, no, I was like, and that was before I actually realized they added the Madagascar vanilla bean on the label and everything. And I'm like, oh, it is a little different. And then I had to look up because I felt embarrassed. I was like, did they make a new product that is with Madagascar vanilla bean? So it's funny because that came up at work. And you mentioned Rainbow Room earlier.
Yes. The Rainbow Room in New York City was, I mean, that was where it was run by Joe Baum. And Joe Baum was probably one of the most cutting edge, you know, restaurateurs of that time. And he hired Dale, and he said to Dale, I said, I want, you know, a turn of the century cocktail program at the Rainbow Room. And Dale was like, I don't know what that means, you know, because again, there was no Google. And I think he told me he got a copy of Jerry Thomas's book. And that was, he took those recipes and of course had to update them for glassware size. But that was really the change. That was the first time I remember sitting at the bar, and I just came across the copy of the menu that Dale had. And I was like, you got a menu just for cocktails? Of course, I stole that little tidbit when I went back to San Francisco, and we did my very first cocktail menu was at the Starlight Room. And I was like, this is really cool. And I think the drinks were like $7.50 or something like that. You know, top of the Rainbow, you know, top of Rock Center, New York City. But it was just this iconic bar. And that was really, like I said, ground zero. And I really think Dale gets credit, and duly so, for being kind of the guy who ushered in this renaissance of classic cocktails we're enjoying right now.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a contemporary classic that you put on, because it's like, I would say, like the old school classics are like, you know, what is it, like Old Fashioned and Negroni and stuff like that from like hundreds of years ago. But then now you're in this realm of contemporary classics. This is its own thing. It stems from the idea, if you're thinking of like Livio's 12 cocktails, you know, what's the cocktail that predates it is the sidecar. But so what did making this cocktail and getting like known for it. What did that do for your career as far as like bartending?
Well, again, it was funny because when we launched it at the Starlight Room, and the cable car, our tag phrase at the Starlight Room was the Starlight Room between the stars and the cable cars. So it was catchy, but there wasn't that type of attention placed on drinks. But this is an easy drinking drink that you don't have to think about all these esoteric ingredients and homemade tinctures and things. That's all great. It's, I applaud the creativity. Sometimes I think we go a little too overboard with it. Who are you making this drink for? And that's something we have to remember, especially today when drinks are $20+. I'll look at menus and I don't know what these ingredients are. Am I going to chance $20 on a drink that I don't know what these things are? And
Right.
am I going to? There's 18 ingredients in the drink. I mean, most cocktails, 3 to 4 ingredients. Celebrate the base spirit, but make it taste good. And it has to be fun. I don't care what drink you put in front of me. If you don't serve it with a smile and happy to see me and a thank you,
Delivery.
And how are you? Hospitality.
Yeah.
I will forgive a drink that is not maybe perfect
Right.
if you make me feel great.
It's like, what's the time I'm having? If it's not a 10 out of 10 cocktail, but I'm having a 10 out of 10 time, who cares?
Who cares? I mean,
Exactly.
And I'll tell you a funny story about that. When I was writing Vodka Distilled, I went to this cocktail bar in Oakland, California. I had heard a lot about it. I was researching. So I go in, I sit at the bar by myself, and I'm looking at the menu. And again, very esoteric ingredients and not a vodka drink on the menu. And I look at the back bar. I don't see a bottle of vodka on the back bar. And this was during that period where certain bartenders, craft bartenders, if you will, I don't know.
Right. I get what
For
you mean.
whatever reason, we're having an issue with vodka. And I asked the bartender, young kid in his 20s, who was the head guy. I was like, drink was great, lied, but I really would love to have a vodka
Liar.
drink. You do stock vodka here, right? And he didn't know who I was, not that I'm anybody. I'm a patron paying money at his bar. He looks me in the eye and said, we have 2 vodkas. And in my opinion, that's 2 too many. And I'm like, dude, you're wet behind the ears. You've been
Yeah.
bartending for,
Give
2
me a blank
years.
canvas.
Tell me something. I mean, I'm a paying customer who wants to drink vodka, which 25% of all your customers want to drink vodka. So don't insult me. Well, we're really more about gin and gin-based cocktails, but I do have a couple of vodkas I can make you, a Vesper or, I'm okay with that. But to say that to me, to insult
put
me
me
like
down.
that for asking for vodka?
That's crazy.
So you know what I asked for next? The check. No. And that bar didn't last long after that. Because if you do not make people welcome, if you do not make people want to be there, happy to spend their money, tell their friends, bring their friends, then it's not a bar. A bar is about this. It's about this. It's not about this. This is a part of it.
And you have people that come in and they really want to be talked to from a professional standpoint, in your opinion, but that's not the average guest. The average guest does not want to be educated when they're going out to dinner or cocktails, especially if they're with a group of friends. They don't want to be preached to or told how to drink at this point.
Amen.
Can you just get my drink, please?
Amen.
That comes out.
I mean, it is great to know the history of the Mai Tai.
100%.
I mean, that one guest who is interested,
Amazing.
amazing.
You're leaning into that.
But most people don't want to hear about the nuances of creme violet in an aviation, and what brand. No, enough. Just make me a great drink. Make me feel good about being here. That's that. So many people. Well, I don't know. I think it's getting better. I do. I think we're understanding that without hospitality, we don't have guests.
There's still something about that. There's that, and I don't want to attack on youth and everything, but there's this young crowd that they don't. We had to walk so they could run, and I shouldn't even include myself in that. It's like a person like you who blazed the trail, and again, your cousin who really blazed the trail and showed you. It's like there was a different set of resources when you were building cocktails. You had to like go and read an entire book. You couldn't watch a YouTube clip on how to make a cocktail. You couldn't go and Google. You might have an encyclopedia, that you had to go through to find out some history. But now it's so much easier to find the history, to know a recipe, to be able to look it up. That our bartenders doing crazy, awesome things right now that couldn't have been done years ago.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But don't forget where you came from, and don't forget what got us here. And I wanted to say, you mentioned vodka, and you have 2 books out already.
Yeah.
One was the Modern Mixologist, Classic Cocktails.
Contemporary classic cocktails.
And then a partner book to that was Vodka Distilled.
Yeah.
Which again, because we were talking about how there's very little appreciation for vodka. And when I think of vodka, don't get me wrong, I love my whiskey cocktails. I'm a whiskey drinker. I'm not as much of a vodka drinker, but I love my dirty martinis randomly. If I'm going out and my first cocktail at a steakhouse, it feels like I should have a dirty martini. So tell me about Vodka Distilled, and has that been received the way you had hoped?
No, absolutely it was. And part of the reason I chose to write that book was, I love vodka. I appreciate vodka. Vodka is the most difficult spirit to really understand and evaluate. And if you get good at really appreciating vodka and the subtle nuances, that the different grain and distillation and all of those things from yeast, it all makes you better at what you do and how you appreciate every other spirit. Not to mention, you said whiskey. I have not found a whiskey that pairs with caviar as well as vodka.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Dang it.
So, I love whiskey too. I love all spirits. And that's the beautiful thing. Why would you ever alienate 25% of your guests who want to drink vodka? You want a cosmopolitan? I'll make you the best cosmopolitan I can.
Let's go.
And then maybe we'll talk about the white lady, but let me win you over. Last thing I want to do.
That's a cocktail, by the way.
The white lady, yeah. Which is very similar to the cosmopolitan, but with gin.
Egg white?
Egg white, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. A delicious cocktail. It's one of the cocktails I pull out when someone says, "Oh, I don't like gin." Really? Well, let me just make you up something here. And if you don't like it, and that's what we do behind the bars. We educate, but we have to educate in the right way.
100%.
You don't want
Pretension is disgusting.
No, it's so disgusting.
Yeah.
So disgusting. I'm just like,
You cast the line and they have to bite.
Oh.
For you to, because I've had this conversation where it's like, I'm not a mixologist, I'm a bartender. But only because there's mixologists out there that pull out their pocket watch and go, okay, I'm going to tell you about the history of the drink you're drinking right now. And you're like in the middle of a date and you're like,
yeah.
Can
Dude,
I talk with her, please? And that's a thing that has sullied the name of mixologist to some people. And I also understand that it's like, I take this seriously. I am the bar chef. And that's the way you hope it is.
Well, and that term mixologist goes back to the 1850s. It's not a new term, but it evolved when bartenders, first and foremost, we're all bartenders. Whatever, we tend the bar, we entertain, we welcome our guests, we help their day be better when they leave than when they first walked in. But I know a lot of great bartenders. I would never dream of going in and ordering a Boulevardier. But the bartender knows my name, warm handshake, knows how the nights did, knows how the stock market closed, knows that this is my girlfriend and not my wife. He is a great, or she is a great bartender, but never doesn't care about the Boulevardier and Harry's New York Bar in Paris and the magazine the drink is named after. No, but he'll pour me 2 fingers of Jameson and a beautiful pint of Guinness, and we'll have that is a great bartender. That is a great bar. No arrogance, no pretension, just welcoming. Yeah. And that's when Helen opened, the Brass Rail used to be an ice cream parlor. And her father died at 43, leaving her and her mother the ice cream parlor. And 1935, realized that There's more money to be made as a bar than an ice cream parlor because it was a Great Depression. But even more so, it was about welcoming people in. I mean, that must have been a difficult time during the Great Depression. So for the price of a glass of beer, you could come in and be welcomed and forget about your troubles. Hospitality. She always told me, Tony, the brass rail is like an extension of my living room. And I treat my customers like I do friends in my home. And that has always stuck with me. That simple lesson has nothing to do with the mixing of a drink.
You're talking about the soul of hospitality.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what it really means. It's not about me at all as the bartender. I hope you appreciate what I'm doing, but at the same time, this is about you. You're my guest. You've chose to spend your money here. I love what you said. You said for the price of a beer.
Yeah.
And that's something that's lost on people. Yes, cocktails often, and I don't know where you're at in the world right now, but like in Vegas, cocktails are often $20, $18. You can go to Sandal and get a $12 to $14 cocktail, and thank God for a place
Love
like
the
that.
Sandal.
Who doesn't? But in this town, I would say, yeah, you're very likely to see $20 cocktails. Now, if you're at a beautiful venue with a great bartender, you spent $20 and you spent 30 minutes there, 45 minutes with that one cocktail, and you're sitting there talking with everyone, is that not worth 20 bucks? If it's done right, if you have the right aesthetics and it's not just the drink in front of you. It is the ambiance. People forget I cost money to be here. It's not just because people are like, I could buy this for $2. I could make this at home for $2. I'm like, no, really. And that's the thing is when this is an art to you and when you really care, and obviously you say it every time you speak, is about hospitality and how much you really actually care about the guest. And when you care about the guest, every interaction is different because they tell you, right? They tell you what they want. Maybe they want to be educated. Maybe they want you to go into the details. And if you're listening, you'll know when to talk about it. But then there's other times where they said a funny joke, you laughed at it, maybe added a quip to it to help get them all laughing, and you walk away.
Yeah.
That's your role.
Oh, it's an art. It's a gift.
And it's a gift because we also learn how to mitigate conversations without having a bar in front of us. It's a skill builder.
Well, I often say, I can teach you to make a great Negroni. I cannot teach you to be passionate about making that Negroni. That's got to come from inside. And if you have that gift, this is the greatest profession because you're able to share that and enlighten people's day. Because the people that come to the bar, you don't know when they walk up to the bar what their day's been like. But like I always say, I want to make your day better when you leave than when you first walked in, regardless of what has happened prior to that. And that all starts and ends with hospitality. What are you going to do with those? I'm sorry.
I wanted to see if...
Look at this selection.
Do you drink neat vodka ever? Since we were talking about vodka.
I mean, I prefer it from the freezer, but to me, that's my favorite way to enjoy vodka. I call it, the reveal. Frozen vodka, it comes out, the texture changes, it becomes syrupy. When something's really, really cold, you don't really pick up on a lot of those subtle nuances, but as it slowly warms up, it expresses itself. And like I said, especially if you got a nice dollop of Esoteric caviar back there. I mean,
I really I dropped the ball on that one.
You dropped the ball, man. We got to do another episode.
When you come back,
we're doing
caviar bumps and vodka.
But yes, I
was gonna say we could do a side, like we could do a neat vodka, or we could do a whiskey. I know we tried a little taste of the CYPB earlier. We could taste that again and talk about it a little bit.
Well, I see you've got something from Alpine up in Utah. I love those folks. Alpine Distillery right next to Rabbit Hole. Yeah, you got way too. Yeah, there it is.
Oh wow, I'm actually surprised that you're talking about this brand because I haven't had anyone actually pick them out, and I worked for them for a little bit, so I have pretty much everything they've ever made.
I love their stuff. I mean, it's a couple. She does the gin, he does the whiskeys. I have not actually had that one.
This one?
No, the other one, the Utah Straight, right?
So yeah, it's young. That's my only caveat is it is young, so it drinks a little hot.
Okay.
But the people behind this brand are some of the nicest, kindest people I've ever met. I worked with them for a couple years, and Sarah is such a darling, and Does she know what she's talking about?
She is. Have you? Well, obviously you worked with her. You went up to Utah. You blended a gin with her.
All right, now you're making me look bad.
I'm sorry.
Okay?
All right,
I guess she didn't like me as much as you. Okay. So
Yeah.
I've never blended my own.
I-
When you're the peon, you don't need to know how the sausage is made.
No, but you
salud.
salud, my friend. Happiness. Oh, I love that sound.
That was a nice one. That's Crystal, baby.
Yes.
So that's Sarah and Rob Sargent,
Yeah.
and out of Park City, Utah. Outstanding people, really great brand. They do a lot with the film festival in I forget what it's called in Utah. It's not the Cannes, I think. It's something else. But they do a film festival out there that they're involved with. They've got their own bar out there, and just outstanding people that'll show you, again, how the sausage is made. But I didn't get to blend my own stuff.
Anytime you want to go back, I love them. They're great. They took me on the full tour. I blended some gin with them. I still have some of that bottle. And she's just, I mean, talk about passion. I mean, the passion that she has and the recognition that she's got. Rob's a little more soft-spoken. He kind of, he's not as out there as Sarah, but Sarah definitely.
She talks botanicals around the world.
She loves it. And she's totally, I mean, there's a great saying that my friend Charlotte Voicey said, through greater knowledge comes deeper enjoyment. And the more you embrace something, the better you enjoy it. And I believe this to be the case. That's why, again, getting back to education, the better you understand something, the more that you will enjoy that. And I really wish we had some frozen vodka and some caviar.
I'm glad that you already committed to a part 2. That's what makes me happy. Season 2 is not too far away.
I love it.
I love that we're going to have a couple reoccurring guests. That there's so much to talk about that there's just not enough time in 90 minutes.
This is lovely, though. This to me would be the perfect old-fashioned whiskey. I mean, it's the rye. There's a spiciness to it, but not. I could see what you're saying with it being a little young. Well, what did we hear about 45 ABV? Is it
actually, I want to say it's like just under that.
42?
No, I'm wrong. 46.2.
Okay.
That's why I don't work for them anymore.
Well, hey, I mean, that's two things now at school.
Hey, listen, I invited the teacher. Okay, I was expecting to be schooled. No one's surprised here. Okay, there's something about me. I am not afraid to say I don't know.
No,
I just don't know. Let me find out, but I don't know right now.
I would rather have somebody say I don't know than try to bullshit me.
Don't bullshit me.
Don't bullshit me. No. Don't.
The worst move you could ever do to me is when I ask for a whiskey ginger
and you do
do Coke and Sprite. I wanna come across the bar like, you think I'm stupid?
Yeah.
They'll never know the difference.
No.
I'm like, you son of a gun.
Coke and Sprite. That I used to do that in my presentations. Ginger ale is not Coke and Sprite.
And now, don't get me wrong. Canada Dry and Schweppes, I don't think actually has any ginger in it. That being said, it still tastes like ginger. And my God, you talk about Benedito or Fever Tree and stuff. Well, they're outstanding.
How lucky are we today? Like I said, that we have these great products to work with.
They
Fever
couldn't
Tree,
have made the cocktails we make now.
No way. I mean, so it's Singapore Sling. What's the recipe? I don't know. It's red. Put some grenadine in it. And nobody would know. And
Mai Tai.
It's just
how many times has the Mai Tai been destroyed?
Well, let me tell you. When we opened the Bellagio, I came up. I told the Trader Vic story, the 1944 Mai Tai. This is what we're going to do because I wanted to resurrect these classic recipes and pay tribute to those people who created them and came before them. So I presented the 1944 Mai Tai, and everybody was like, "This isn't a Mai Tai," because they're used to pineapple juice and grenadine float and Meyer. I was like,
"This is wrong."
But that's what they knew as a Mai Tai. You don't know what you don't know, and you don't hand down bad habits. And I said, just taste it. You tell me. And if a guest doesn't like it, we'll make them something similar to what maybe they do. And that was the thing we always allowed people to do, our bar team. If you recommend something to someone and they don't like it, replace it. I mean, we want you to leave happy, but we want you to experience something new.
I'm only here because of you.
Exactly.
Right?
Funny story about that. Bellagio, Italian. Bellinis. Before 1998, did anybody serve fresh white peach Bellinis in Las Vegas? I don't know.
Fresh juice and period.
What
It was
exactly?
all sour mix from what? Finest Call or something. If that was around at that time.
It was, and actually, Finest Call, if you're going to use a mix, one of the better mixes out there. The stuff coming off most guns in Las Vegas at that time was definitely not of that quality.
Gun sour mix.
Anyway, I'm at the Baccarat bar, and I'm back behind the bar with Dorothy, God rest her soul, and I'm buffing glasses and trying to stay out of the way. And this young couple comes up to the bar, probably early 30s. It's summertime. He's got Bermuda shorts and a Hawaiian shirt. And she's got one of those cute little sundresses. Yeah, I love
Vacation,
those.
baby.
Yeah. And he orders a Madras. I remember this like yesterday, and she's like deer in the headlights. I want something special, but I'm at the Bellagio, and I don't want to ask a stupid question, and I'll have a Bud Light. And I stepped in, I said, excuse me, mind if I recommend something? He said, recommend? No one's recommended a drink before. He said, let me make you a fresh white peach Bellini. Prosecco, fresh white peach puree, created in Venice, Italy, at Harry's Bar, named after a 15th century artist who painted in the pastel colors that reminded Cipriani of the drink. So he named it after.
digresses.
I digress. I didn't say all that, but I could have.
Impressive.
I made her the drink. She tasted it. She lit up, passed it to her boyfriend. He tasted it, pushed the Madras aside. They both ordered Bellinis. I came back Monday, and I was talking to Dorothy. She said, that couple you turned on to Bellinis? I said, yeah. Said they came back, said we're leaving. We spent our whole weekend at your bars drinking Bellinis. And so what a great experience they had, because they had something different than a Bud Light. Not that there's anything wrong with Bud Light,
right.
but
You like
now
what
they're
you
going
like.
to go back to Toledo or Detroit or wherever they're from, and their friends are going to say, we're going to Las Vegas. Oh, you got to go by the Bellagio, see Dorothy at the Baccarat bar, and ask for this champagne drink that's named after some dead Venetian artist, and it's pink. But no, they had a great experience, and that's what we do.
You're part of
Michael.
their life now.
Well,
You're a memory in their life, like a week where you spent with a person and it's a vacation. These are highlights that, listen, it's not because of like your ego. It's, man, I affected them. I created an experience for them, and that's the reward.
That is the reward.
Because it's like I end up leaving work sometimes, and I'm just like,
oh no,
I had a great day.
I had a great.
And it's just because you had great guests that responded to you.
And you impacted them.
Yeah.
You made their
People don't believe
visit.
me when I talk like this.
Oh no, I believe you.
Well, I know. Well, you're because birds of a feather.
Well, one more quick story, just to.
But you're gonna have to step up and talk while you're doing while you're doing your Pisco Punch.
Oh, Pisco.
Yeah.
When did you first discover Peruvian Pisco?
I was at Cut. This was 2017 or 18.
Okay, sounds about right.
And it was my first favorite craft cocktail. Though, I think not enough people on a Pisco Sour, I should say.
Yes.
A Pisco Sour was my favorite cocktail. And I had to learn what Pisco was because someone gave me a Pisco Sour. And I said, that's delicious. But then the wet dog smell came in and I was like, I don't love that. But I'll say this, anyone that makes a Pisco Sour, anything with egg white, you put the bitters and they say the bitters covers up. No, you need oils from a citrus. You need a lemon peel on top of that. For me, because those aromatic bitters, though beautiful, and I love to do a design, I always do that. I also give it a little lemon peel because the egg white smell eventually comes out if you don't put those lemon oils or something on top.
So are you talking about, because people talk about this wet dog thing. I'm a professional taster, and I'm not,
Ouch.
No, I'm not boasting that. No. But it's so, I just did yesterday because I'm doing the menu for the Brass Rail, and I'm torn between Egglands, which is to me my favorite pasteurized egg whites, and fresh egg white in those type of drinks like the Pisco Sour.
Safety purposes, pasteurized makes more sense.
A lot of reasons it does, yes. But I thought it made for a better presentation, better finish, better.
Those are damn good egg whites.
Those are good, damn good egg whites. And why would you Why would you not use the best? I mean, I'm always looking to use the best. But I didn't, maybe on the fresh egg white, maybe I picked up a little bit of that, but I have never really, unless they're old egg whites. If the eggs are old, if they
I'm
haven't been
cracking
stored.
eggs. Like I'm,
No, I know. That's, maybe you've got a better palate than I do.
It's only.
I doubt it, but maybe.
First of all, I've been drinking with you. We drink fast, So if it's not sitting, there's no dog smell because
Okay.
it takes about 5 minutes
All right.
for it to that the bitters is worn off a little bit, and then you start to smell the egg white on top. Just has a smell. Even wet dog isn't the right way, but it's just like it's similar to like an off-putting smell.
Don't be afraid of egg whites in your cocktail.
They're outstanding. Okay. They're outstanding. I couldn't have a whiskey sour without egg whites.
I agree.
Is wrong.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Wrong.
I agree.
I'm gonna switch spots with you. So
all right.
But you had a story to tell me. I'm gonna bring that over here because we're gonna have more of that.
All right. Now, the way I discovered Peruvian Pisco, when we opened the Bellagio, and again, 1998, I put together this menu called Latino Libations, and it drew on Latin countries. It had a mojito on there. It had the classic daiquiri, a caipirinha, and a pisco sour from Peru. But the only pisco available at the time in Las Vegas was a Chapelle from Chile. It's not a Peruvian pisco. Jump forward a couple years later, our first USBG luncheon, and I'm not going to use the jigger because I was born to free pour.
I trust you.
I appreciate the use of the jigger, but again, when I came up, nobody used the jigger. So I think, and I see a lot of bartenders that use the jigger who don't use it proper.
That's the problem.
That is the problem.
They're not hitting the meniscus.
They're not hitting the meniscus. They're not hitting the meniscus. And it's become such a show with what they do.
But when they pour and then they jigger and they pour it in and they're still pouring, you're like, well, what was the point of this?
I don't. Now, I'm a little rusty. I'm not probably going to be perfect, but I'm going to be pretty.
46 years of business, you're not rusty. You don't get rusty.
So we've got 2 ounces per drink. This is La Madrina. This is the Torrentel grape. So it's a single varietal, aromatic style grape. I love Peruvian Pisco. You mentioned earlier the Pisco sour. I've never made a Pisco sour for someone who hasn't said, this is like one of the most, it's like drinking, a flower, like drinking a flower. It's just a beautiful, beautiful drink.
This is crazy to me.
So now we're some fresh pineapple juice.
About this much of a pour. Give about this much, about a little bit of that. How do you do that recipe? Some of this, some of that.
And that's why I should be using the glass just to measure on the glass. Fresh squeezed lemon juice.
Let me grab your glassware.
Oh, and beautiful. Some people like to make the Pisco Punch with lime. Some people do a split lemon lime base. I'm going straight lemon. Pineapple gum syrup. Now you can make a homemade pineapple gum syrup. You need gum arabic, which is a resin from a tree. It's kind of a pain in the ass to make. You gotta let that sit with water overnight, make a porridge, and then cook it down with with pineapple and sugar. This is Lieber & Co.'s pineapple gum. At this point in my life, Michael, if I can find someone who can make it as good or better than I can,
I call him a damn liar.
I don't know, but I'm not going to spend 4 hours, 8 hours making a syrup when I can.
And you touched on this earlier, where it's like all these specialty ingredients that, listen, I respect it. You spent 2 days making this infusion.
Yes.
You made your orgeat from scratch, and it's like, okay, but are we talking about at a home where I'm doing it for 5 people? Or are we talking about I need to mass produce this? And we need to make it make sense. And there's great products. And of course they cost money.
Yeah.
But then you build that into your cost of your cocktail. Liquid Alchemist for me.
I love their stuff.
Is the opinion. I mean, I even have their simple syrup on here. It's like, I love their products.
Love their stuff.
They do good stuff, and it's shelf stable for a while. Like, you can have it shelf stable, and then once you open it, you refrigerate it.
Yeah.
It's outstanding.
Same with the
all natural.
Yeah. I met these guys at Tales of the Cocktail years ago when they were first starting, and I was like, okay. I mean, because again, the only way you used to be able to get, like you said, a great grenadine or a great orgeat or a pineapple gum or any gum syrup for that matter, you had to make it yourself. And I know your time, you put a value on your time. I put a value on my time. So like I said, if I can find somebody who can make it as good or sometimes better and also
Consistency.
consistency. I mean,
I need to replicate this 1,000 times every week. It's going. I'm
yes,
making this 100 times, 200 times.
yes. I mean, you buy a pineapple this week, you buy one next month, you taste it, the Brits are a little different. I mean, the flavor's a little off. I mean, this is, can I make it as good? Probably. Can I mean,
But now where's your time? Yeah.
Yes.
For that's not a cheap product, right?
No.
But for how much you're using, it was $25 on Amazon, right? For how much you're using, I would rather spend the $25.
Yeah.
Have that delivered, knowing it's outstanding.
Yeah. What happened? Did I make a mess?
No. I realized
I thought I sprayed on you because I wasn't using the modern mixologist tin on tin.
I was
shaker.
shocked. No, I wish I had two of them. I would have had it set up.
You
I
don't
realized
have to
I was
wish.
talking without a mic.
You just have to say, Tony, could I get another one? So
We're gonna
right,
see. We're
let's
gonna see
see.
Angelo's skills after this because I was
Oh,
talking without a
boy.
mic, so I was basically talking into your
I got to
mic.
tell you, you talk about free pouring and jigger pouring. I don't want to just,
I'm annoyed.
well,
I'm annoyed because I'm a jigger guy.
Are you even 46? How old are you?
I am a grandfather.
You
I'll
are?
have,
No way.
I took my son out for his 21st birthday last month.
Oh,
Holy crap.
God bless.
I had more fun than he did. I'm gonna tell you what. My favorite line of the entire night. That's your dad? Freaking awesome. I was like, that's right. That's my boy.
I love it. Well,
I took him to the Arts District. We did a bar crawl. I stopped and saw Christopher Gutierrez at
Loved him.
the
Loved him.
Prowl. We went to Liquid Alchemist. Of course, you have to make all those stops. There were so many good spots. We ended at Jive Turkey. My son got iced twice. The first time he got iced, he was like this.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, I'm gonna have to take this one.
Yeah.
And then he had recovered a little bit. So then the next, like an hour later, then you see him doing a Smirnoff Ice. It was one for the ages. I didn't get the 21st birthday I wanted, and I basically took it out on his 21st birthday. So there was a child, and it was me in the Arts District that night.
For every great child, there's a great father. So
Hey yo, salud.
here's you, my
This
friend.
looks outstanding.
Happiness.
You free pouring son of a gun. It pisses me off because I can't do that.
Oh, you can.
Listen, you and Bobby G, okay? That's the two people I will allow to free pour me a craft cocktail.
Well,
I'll say this.
thank you.
I am big into the etiquette and the style. There's something to be said about the showmanship that you can do with the jigger.
You can. Yep.
So there's a lot, when you're doing this, it tells you, you explain. I know spirits and liquid so much that I can eyeball that. Well, I can't. I'm only 20 or under 20 years in the industry. You double me plus some. So, I mean, I hope to be doing as much for this industry as you've done to this point. It's insane. I'm curious if you have a third book coming out.
Well, I've been working on a book I call Drinking with My Friends, because at the end of the day, really, that's what a great drink is about, is sharing time and either celebrating that time with friends or creating experiences with new friends. And what I've done, I've kind of evolved it since now, getting the brass rail back. And the brass rail really is about celebrating with friends. And it's called Drinking with Friends, Cocktails from the Brass Rail. So hopefully it'll be out in 27. And it's just really going to feature more on stories than cocktails, because there's so many great cocktail books out there. And like you said, you can go online, you can Google. I put in an aviation cocktail, I'll get 20,000 hits in a nanosecond. I mean, it used to have to go out, like I said, and get those old books. And I've got a great library of old books at home, and I still I still love just to open up those old books and know that somebody that made our profession available to us today sat down and penned this book. And I appreciate that they've given us this great profession. So paying tribute to them and then paying it forward to the next generation. It's been a great ride, and I'm looking forward to
Happiness.
the next 80 years. Happiness.
Well, you, I know, are not that old, sir. I was like, if you are, I mean, we're gonna bottle and sell whatever you're doing, but that really does, like, to finish on the fact that passion and how much you care about what you do, and it doesn't have to be bartending, it doesn't have to be even hospitality, but once you realize that hospitality can be incorporated into anything that we do. If you're an accountant that understands hospitality, when a guest comes in one time and you're like, oh, do you need a refreshment? Could I get you anything? We're gonna do some annoying stuff right now. I'm gonna ask you about personal stuff. Let's break bread. Let's have a little. Hospitality can be in any industry. It can be the celebrity on stage. What do you get when you go to their event? There's so many ways to incorporate hospitality and passion for what you do that when I meet people that you go like, oh, hey, well, good to see you today. How you doing? And they're like, well, I'm here. And I'm like, well, I feel bad for your tables, you know? And because it goes like, don't get me wrong. When I'm getting ready for work, I'm like, God damn it. Gotta get ready for work. Put on the clothes and get it. But as soon as I clock in, it's like the switch flips and I go, hey, it's good to see you. How are you? And it's not inauthentic. It's just I'm not at my home. I'm not chilling watching TV. I'm going here to make people have a good time. And I feel like you've been blazing that trail and creating good times for 45 years. And to hear that you were trained by one of the first baddest women in the game, also pretty cool. So let's go for Negroni week.
Yeah.
I'm going on the bike ride this year. I miss it all the time. I'm a degenerate. I close bars late and I'm like, I'm too tired. I bail. I'm going this year.
All right.
I'm locked in. You heard it right here. I cannot not go to the Negroni week bike ride with you in honor of Helen.
Thank you.
Please support that charity. Please support the USBG. Please go check out anything this man is doing. It's outstanding. Thank you for blazing the trail. Thanks for making it awesome for us.
It's been, like I said, a hell of a ride. And 46 years later, to be back at the brass rail. And that's my retirement plan. So I was either buy a really nice boat and spend the rest of my days fishing, or
Also pretty great.
buy the brass rail and spend the rest of my days putting smiles on faces.
Not a bad way to go.
Happiness.
Let's do this. Another 80 years.